Hi, and welcome to Table Manners. I'm Josh Baty, and this is a show where we pull up a chair with the chefs and the restaurant owners that are redefining hospitality and food throughout New York and New Jersey. Today, we're here with chef owner of Kantina in Sparkill, Chef Chris Holland, and three-time Chop champion. He's a taco guru and what would you say, flavor anarchist, maybe?
I think that's fair.
That's fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
You too.
All right, Chris. So let's get into it. So, how the hell did you get yourself into this mess?
Well, as a restaurant owner or as a chef, because both of them are a mess. I know I was actually a career change chef. I was a paralegal, studying to go to law school. I had some health issues. Many people know I have MS, and so got hit with that. And after a few years of dealing with that and all the stages of grief and all that crap,
Yeah.
I decided I wanted to do what I love doing, and I always loved cooking since I was about 6 years old. So had a conversation with my wife, and she was like, if you want to do it, do it. She's like, I got your back, and it's your turn to try. So I basically walked into a restaurant in Jersey that was looking for a chef, and I offered to work for free.
Wow. And so but is that the first time that it was your first professional experience being a chef?
Before I became a chef, I had 2 weeks experience as a line cook
Really?
at another restaurant.
Okay.
It was a little ridiculous. Like I didn't even know that the health department was a thing. Like they showed up one day and I'm like, what did I do? Why are you here? Like they're like, you have to get inspected. I'm like, what? I had no idea about the industry. I was kind of a joke, and I learned by making mistakes in the beginning. That's how I was able to eventually learn how to do this.
Amazing. So you're known throughout well, a couple of things. I want to talk about the beginning stages of it because it is kind of a really amazing story and it's pretty well documented. You have MS. Um, you know, you decide at that point. You had some struggles with that. You go into being a chef, which is kind of amazing, and then you wind up. Can you tell us how you got from that point to Chopped?
Um, so Chopped was one of my favorite shows when I wasn't a chef. Ironically, I don't watch it anymore,
Right.
but once you see how the soup is made, I guess.
Right.
Um, but it was one of my favorite shows. So I was constantly applying and applying and applying.
Right.
Finally, I got a call to go in for an interview, and I had to go into New York City, which is like, I hate doing that.
Right.
I hate it. But I get there. Um, but the day before my Chopped interview, my son was born. So I was a little distracted,
Right.
very tired, went into the interview, and I did not get a call back.
Okay.
Understandably, I think I look tired all the time. Everyone's always like, "Why are you so tired?" So me on like 2 hours of sleep, really tired. Um, but during the course of the interview, we started talking about food science and that I love food science. Like I'm a food science nerd, right? It's my favorite thing in the world. And I read all these books, and Alton Brown is my favorite chef, because like he teaches why things do what they do. Um, he teaches the why, not the how.
Yep.
So it just so happened, I guess they kept me on file. About a year later, Alton Brown is doing a special. So I get a phone call from them saying, we want you to be on Chopped, and it's a special tournament. You could win $50,000. And the guest host is Alton Brown. And I almost fainted. I got the call right where we're really right where we're sitting. I got the phone call, and like I was like almost in tears. I'm like, this is like every dream coming true. Plus, there's a $50,000 cherry on top. So that's how I got on, and it was it was a brutal week. I had to shoot back-to-back days, back-to-back 12-hour days of shooting. So at the last episode, people were, why are you crying? Like, my friends were busting my chops. And like, dude, I was literally on about an hour and a half of sleep, like because you don't sleep the night before the first episode.
Right.
You definitely don't sleep the night before the second episode, and then you're cooking for 10 hours straight, and it's hard. It's like being on TV is not like an easy thing. I These reality shows, like it's intense.
They're tough.
Yeah, it's really intense.
What was the craziest thing in your basket?
I think I would have to say the tarantulas in the second episode. The second episode, the dessert basket had tarantulas in it. Yeah, that was the most annoying thing in the basket. Well, was a water cake, Japanese water,
Yeah, yeah.
which is just water in the shape of a cake, and it tastes like water.
Right.
We had to do something with that. Like we all looked at each other like, what do we do with water?
What did you do with water?
I melted it back down, flavored it, and because it had this it had an ingredient called agar in it, which is vegan jello,
Yeah.
basically. So I was able to melt it down, add some flavorings to it, and then I made a little donut and I cut a nice strip of the jelly and I put it on top of the donut. And so I made a jelly donut, sort of thing.
So you were standing right here. You get the call for Alton Brown, and things start to change a little bit. Now, during that time, you weren't. It wasn't Cantina at that time.
No, it was Divine Bar.
Okay.
It was
So
Divine
you
Bar.
were here as the head chef as Divine Bar.
Yes.
Okay. So how did we get from Divine Bar to where we're sitting in now, which is Cantina?
Well, Divine Bar, just first and foremost, that was Divine Bar is one of the best things that ever happened to me in my life. Joe Prince, we're still great friends today. He took a chance on a young chef with very little experience and gave his beautiful brand new restaurant to him. And he encouraged my creativity from the jump, and we just grew and grew and grew. And Divine Bar was just a wonderful experience in my life, and it's something I'll never forget.
Mm-hmm.
Divine Bar, COVID happened, and then after COVID, when we came back to work, I actually cut my finger really bad, and I like severed the tendon in my finger.
Oh, please.
So it was sort of like me and the owner talked, and I wasn't going to be able to work for a year. So it was sort of like a situation that he was in. It was like, well, what do I do? Do I go forward without Chris Holland at Divine Bar? It's kind of difficult to do that.
Yeah.
And he decided he was going to close shop. And I actually decided I didn't want to be a chef anymore, that I was going to pursue something else. I was going to collect workers' comp for a year and figure out what I wanted to do. And, then again, my wife was like, why don't you see if you can buy the restaurant and, do your own thing, and one of the things we always had on the menu at Divine Bar was tacos. We had a taco of the day, which was like my favorite thing to make. I made it, we changed it almost every single day.
Right.
And I love tacos, man. Tacos are like my favorite food in the world. And, I felt like I could sort of take that eclecticness of Divine Bar and sort of turn it into an eclectically themed restaurant.
Right.
And that's sort of how this was born. A childhood friend of mine named Elder was, instrumental. My father reached out to him, and he had eaten my food a lot, and he's like, I'll financially back you, and we could be partners. And it's been a wonderful partnership. I wouldn't have been able to buy it without him. So that's sort of how this whole thing was born, and
Amazing. So let's talk about these tacos for a second, because you are known as kind of like the grand wizard of like tacos in this area. You make some crazy stuff. They're not your typical, they're not like the Ortega tacos that
I like those.
So do I. But don't get me wrong, but that's not what we're talking about here. Tell us a little bit about that.
We're an Asian restaurant, so I always felt that Asian flavors would be they were very well suited to being served on a tortilla, a flour tortilla. I'm not a big fan of corn tortillas. the flour tortilla almost has like a rice kind of taste to it a little bit. And I always thought it would be a great canvas for Asian flavors. And I love cooking Asian food.
Mm-hmm.
The first restaurant I worked at was next to a Thai market. So I would go in and talk to the guy and what sauce should I try today? And I got to learn all the different sauces and it's my favorite, genre of food.
Mm-hmm.
I love cooking it. I love showing people that Asian food is not soy sauce. It's not all soy sauce, that there's a wide
Right.
variety of them. So doing like, I think I was trying to decide whether to do a taco restaurant or an Asian restaurant. So I'm like, yeah, let's
Do both.
kind of put them together. Yeah. So I get to do a lot of stuff I like. I love dumplings. I love fried rice. Um, I love I love Asian takeout and I love tacos. What I wanted to do was I wanted to elevate Asian food, Asian takeout, and I wanted to elevate Asian tacos.
Right.
I'm a big fan of elevating, um, you know, the lower echelon of food. I don't want to insult it, but the takeout food, diner food,
The street food.
street food. I love elevating that into something different. That was what I did a lot at Divine Bar. So
Yeah.
this was sort of a more focused approach to that.
Well, I mean, for anybody that hasn't eaten here yet, it's it. You don't have to do too much research to find out that you've been doing a hell of a job at that. Um, it's pretty well established that that when it comes to that kind of cooking, which is kind of a little bit weird, a little bit wild, and has this Asian flair, you're the guy. So it's interesting. You have this, you know, your food has taken on uh, some you know you're influenced by Japanese flavors, Korean flavors, and Thai, and that just seems like a pretty like how did that jump happen? Like where did we go to get? How did Chris Holland get into Asian cuisine?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with where I grew up. I grew up just right down 9W in Fort Lee.
Okay.
And when I was growing up, Fort Lee, it still is a very heavy Asian population, but back then um, it was it was one of the more concentrated Asian areas, right? So there was a ton of Asian restaurants and stuff like that when I was growing up. Also, all my friends were Asian, and I would go over their house. I had a couple that were Taiwanese, a couple that were Japanese, a couple that were Korean, a lot that were Korean,
Mhm.
and I would go over their house and their parents would always be like, I'm going to order pizza. And I'd be like, no, 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 no. I want to eat what I smell cooking in the kitchen. And they would be like, what? Really? Because this was like 1985.
Yep.
Um, and I mean, that kind of food always stuck with me. Divine Bar opened up and it was originally a pizza place, if people can remember back that far. It was a pizza place with Mediterranean small plates. And over time, over the course of 12 years, when you would come in here and eat, on a menu of 25 things, there was 18 things that were Asian. Like, so I kind of
Took
I
it over.
stuck them in little by little until people didn't even notice. So, it's always been just a palette that I enjoy. So I always sort of gravitated towards it. And now that I'm doing it here exclusively, I've learned a ton more about it.
Yep. It's amazing how what we grow up around influences our life, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Fort Lee for a second. Favorite hot dog?
Oh, Hiram. No, which one? Which one is the one that's still there?
Hiram's.
Hiram's. Yes, Hiram's. I always get them confused. Like one of them's
I'm
gone.
a big Hiram's guy. That's right.
Yeah.
It used to be the dueling hot dog places.
Yeah.
Callahan's and Hiram's.
Callahan's had too much other crap on their menu. Like I just want a hot dog. They had like,
Yep.
deep fried hot dog is the only way I'll eat a hot dog. I won't eat it any other way. I fight with my mother-in-law. Like
I'm the same way.
you boiled it, it's garbage.
Horrible.
How do you want it? It has to be deep fried, or it's not. And I yell at my son for putting ketchup on it.
That's another big faux pas.
Yeah.
Right?
They have that sign there that says they have the rules.
That's
and,
right.
Like no ketchup on the hot dog unless you're under 13 years old or
That's
something
right.
like that.
It's awesome. Yeah, fantastic hot dog. All right, so let's talk now about what we have going on here because past 3 years, you've been killing it here. I mean, people like love the food, right? Actually, how long has it been, Cantina?
It's almost 3 years.
It's 3 years, right? Okay.
Mhm.
People love the food, very vocal about it. Your fans are huge fans. It's almost like, tell us about like what a week looks or, a busy day looks like at Cantina.
It can get kind of crazy here, especially in the summer
Yeah.
because we have the outside open. Um, a lot of it, I mean, the food comes out fast, so it's like Fast and the Furious because we try and get the people the food as quick as we can, and they're tacos, so they're relatively easy. And of course, everybody wants to come and eat at 7 o'clock. So well, we open at 4, and we have a happy hour. That's really good deals for the happy hour. So in the summertime, especially, we get the early crowd in. And then, in the summers especially, it can get crazy. It's
Yeah.
because it's the nature of small plates. You don't have that luxury of, okay, I got an appetizer and I know I have a steak coming up in the second course and I can plan. This is like,
They're coming.
they're coming and they're coming fast. Yeah.
So so is it usually a line? Is it usually a long wait to kind of to get in? Sometimes it is, sometimes.
Uh, this summer, disappointingly, it actually wasn't as much. I think the weather this summer was just
Yeah, they're all over the
really,
place.
really, really bad. But on the busier nights early in the summer, yeah,
Yeah.
we had a little bit of a wait list, but again, we get people in and out quickly,
Yeah.
which I appreciate when I go eat somewhere. Like I like to get my food and get out,
Yep.
and go get eat some good food and get on with my day.
And you got a pretty lively bar, generally.
Yeah, we
That
have a
might-
great bartender too, Hannah. She's a wonderful bartender. She's doing a great job. She has some very creative cocktails.
Tell us a little bit about that. Is there a are you how important is it that your cocktails and your food talk?
Oh, they absolutely have to. I think when you're coming here, in the beginning, we had a lot of people coming here and they were like, I'm going to get tacos, right?
Right.
And I don't think people look at it that way as much anymore. It's an Asian restaurant that happens to put stuff on flour tortillas,
Right.
right? So when you're coming to an Asian restaurant, I think you're expecting and wanting to drink Asian cocktails.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Hannah, to give her another shout out, she does a great job of putting together, drinks that go with the food.
Yeah.
So
There's it seems like there's a lot of thought put into it. I mean, I don't know what that dance looks like, but whatever it is, it's going well. And you can tell by how people react to the food. What's your hottest thing on the menu right now?
that's a good question. I think the new burger taco. Again, it's a burger, it's Wagyu, and it's done like a smash burger. With some spicy chilies underneath, and then it has the sauce. It's sort of towing the line, but we make it Asian by first we dredge the Wagyu burger in bonito flakes, which gives it a great crust when you cook it down, and it gives it a little bit of that umami funk. And then we dress it with a sauce called yum yum sauce, which is just this like amazing Japanese sauce that just was made for hamburgers. So yeah, it's that's probably, I would say, our hottest seller.
Nice. Let's talk a little bit more about your cocktails for a second, specifically what they're made with. If you walk down your bar, you don't see a lot of not that there's anything wrong with this, but you don't see a lot of typical labels on the bottles. You're not seeing Jack Daniels. You're not seeing a lot of Jim Beam, or even Grey Goose vodka for that matter. You're seeing more. You're seeing bottles that are from smaller distilleries. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, again, I think it comes down to a lot of what we do here. A lot of thought goes into every single thing that gets put on your table, from the food to the drinks. And we made a concerted effort in the very beginning to, research and find these unique spirits. A lot of these spirits that we sell here, they're local companies, which is another thing that, we're very, big on, is using local purveyors for whatever we can, because this is our community and community is an important thing. But it's the drinks and the food that you get here when you come here, like the process for it getting on your plate started months before it got on your plate. There's a lot of people working very hard, to think of the stuff, source the stuff, buy the stuff and do all of that. Like we really care about the experience that you're getting to come here.
Yeah, it shows. Sparkill in general, right? Sparkill, New York, is starting to become this little mecca for
Yeah.
really great food. And you want to talk a little bit about that? Like, kind of like you're definitely a part of that, but like, was this like I mean, it's news to somebody. It might not be news to you, but
I love Sparkill.
yeah,
It's my second home, really. I mean,
yeah,
I've spent, I don't know, it's going on 14 years in Sparkill, and to see it grow, like I think for a long time it was just me and Kevin over at Roost, and other restaurants have opened up, and then when another restaurant opens up, your first thing is like, oh man, I got more competition. That's. But then the flip side of it is it brings people into
more
Sparkill,
people are
right?
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if someone goes to Kevin across the street, they're walking by my restaurant, say, oh, next time
Next
I'll
time.
try that. And I would say, like, there's a little bit of a friendly competition between all of us to be the best, so to speak.
Level up.
Yeah, and we're all three restaurants are very different right now, and we're hoping that the location across the street where Kevin started out, we're
Yeah.
hoping somebody's going to come in there,
Yeah.
eventually. But what's happened to this town is a wonderful thing. When they shoot the movies here, it's a little bit annoying. I'm not gonna lie about that. They're like, "Here, we'll give you $5."
Right.
Great people. Um,
Uh,
I just mentioned that because last night they were here and it was like
shooting something, but
the whole parking lot was closed. There was like smoke everywhere. I'm like, people think my restaurant's on fire right now. Who's gonna come in here? You
Yeah.
know,
well, it's picturesque. You know what I mean? There's a lot of great. It's got like a great little street here, and people like to put it in movies now.
when I first conversation I ever had with Joe Prince when I was going to start at Divine Bar, he's like, "Yeah, we're located in Sparkill." I'm like, I think I said to him, "Where the hell is Sparkill?" I had never even heard of it,
Okay.
and I literally grew up 20 minutes from it, didn't even know it was here.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "It's in New York." And then as a person from New Jersey, my response to that was upstate New York.
Yeah.
And I found out that you can't call it upstate New York here because people get a little bit mad.
Hudson Valley, I guess.
Hudson Valley.
Right.
I don't call them upstate New York. I've been to upstate New York, and this is not upstate New York.
No, it's not. That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit while we're kind of going through this, because you have done a couple different things in your restaurant that not a lot of people have done. One of them, I think, is actually a kind of a cool thing. I'd like to talk a little bit about your kitchen gratuity. It's
Yeah.
kind of a different thing.
It's a little bit of a
And I want to talk to
controversial
you
thing.
about it because it's controversial.
Yeah.
But when I think that you explain it, I think that it makes so much more sense than the alternative. Right? So can you talk a little bit about what it is and what it's not, and why you went this way?
So, I cooked in the kitchen for 10 years, cooking on the line along with my guys.
Yeah.
And I love these guys that work for me. They're like family.
Mhm.
I wish I could pay them $100,000 a year.
Right.
If I could, I would. And they work their butts off, and they're here for 10, 12 hours a day. And on a Saturday night they get their heads bashed in, and I wanted them to feel like they were a part of the success. If we do 130 people, that they didn't work for nothing.
Right.
So that's like the emotional side of it.
Yep.
Then there's the financial side of it, right? So what it amounts to for my cooks in the kitchen is between $100 and $160 a week. That's what they wind up walking away with, and then that gets taxed from them.
Right.
It's still not a salary that they deserve to get, and I wish, again, that it was higher. But in order for me to give them that extra $150 each, I would have to raise all my menu prices by 25%.
Which is very significant.
Which is very significant, which I'm sure would make people more angry than an extra 4% charge on their bill. So, looked at it from that angle, you know, it was a way of keeping my menu prices to something that would, you know,
Reasonable.
that were reasonable, that would help it, because we have, you know, our menu is cheaply priced as it is. A lot of work goes into these tacos. So even though you might be like, well, I didn't get a lot for what I paid,
Yeah,
you
but
know,
they're
quantity wise, the work that went into that, every single thing is homemade and everything. So in order to, for me to give you food like that, it costs money.
but
And, 4% on your charge, or me upping every menu price by 25%. It's,
yep.
because all things aren't equal.
And it means the world to your kitchen staff too.
And it does. It makes them feel like they're not just pieces of shit.
Yeah.
They get their heads bashed in on a Saturday. They're getting in their car. At least they can say to themselves, "I made an extra $50 tonight."
Right.
You know,
Whether they're here on a slow Tuesday or not, like, it's one thing, but
Tuesdays are not slow.
Oh, what? I know. I'm
Taco
sorry.
Tuesday, man.
That's right, Taco
You
Tuesday.
got to come out for Taco Tuesday.
So tell me a little bit about what you have going on now, like in the restaurant, like some exciting stuff. Anything? And we talked a little bit about, before we turned the cameras on, you were telling me about this new menu that you kind of rolling out.
Right. So yeah. Well, first and foremost, if I can mention, we did open up another restaurant in Nyack called Kantina.
Yeah.
So give a shout out to them.
All right.
As far as here goes with the new menu, we are in the process of revamping our menu.
Yep.
I think so. I think when we first came about, my eclecticness as a chef was reflected in the theme of the restaurant, Asian tacos.
Yep.
Something that outside of Southern California, I don't think has been done anywhere. So my food, I've always strived to be eclectic. But what happens when you've been around for 3 years is you kind of it loses its eclecticness, right? So now it's just, okay, that's the Asian taco place, and people just accept Asian tacos as a normal thing.
Right.
What I'm striving to do with our new menu changes is stay true to what the restaurant is, but I'm trying to tap back into a little bit of that old Chris Holland from the Divine Bar days.
Yep.
And give you some stuff that's kind of a little bit weird, and you look at it on the menu and you're like, that sounds strange, but I'm gonna try it, and then you try it and you love it.
We gonna see any tarantulas on the desserts?
It's possible. I've done it before. We're starting to do frozen custards again for specials, new ones. And we're actually in stage 2 of a menu change, so we're transitioning into fall. So if you haven't been in here a while, there's a lot of new stuff.
Full.
We're open on Sundays now, which I'm very excited about. We haven't been open on Sundays really since we first opened. We were only open for 5 days. We wanted to be exclusive, but there was enough of demand out there that we're finally doing what every other restaurant does and open up 6 days. So we're excited about that. The cocktail menu is always evolving and changing. And I'm very happy about the new dishes on the menu that have gotten on so far, and it's going to continue to come. We have the rest of the fall changes, and then I'm planning another change in the wintertime.
Wonderful. So I know you brought it up, but I'll just put a little bow on it. Cantina Kita in Nyack, real quick. Tell us a little bit how that happened.
It sort of happened because we have had a lot of success here, and we decided we wanted to challenge ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not a person who likes complacency, sometimes to my detriment in life. I never know when enough is enough.
Yep.
But that place there, I wanted to focus a little bit more on, I don't want to say traditional, but I wanted to sort of reimagine sushi a little bit. And that's sort of the focus over there.
It's another place that's getting great reviews.
It's getting great reviews. It's doing very well. I'm very happy with the food over there. The staff I got over there too was great.
All right. So now, usually, we wrap up with a segment that we like to do, which is pretty much we talk about the reviews that you've gotten, right? And we always talk about the good reviews, right? Everybody, and you have a ton of good reviews. I think as we sit here today, you're at 4.8 for this, and we have hundreds of reviews. So that's a really amazing feather in your cap. but everybody always has a couple shitty reviews. So we give you the chance to kind of read those reviews. Like I'll read one to you, and then you can kind of respond to the review.
Okay.
All right. Does that sound good?
Yeah, let's rock.
All right.
Oh, my
Which,
favorite.
give me a review.
My wife says I'm really good at taking criticism, so let's see how it
Let me
goes.
see. Okay, so we have. So first of all, it's nearly impossible to find a shitty review for you because, like, even like, you have like one-star review. Guy didn't even say anything. He just put in a 1-star review. We don't even know what upset him, right? Then you have one 2-star review, and then you have a couple 3-star reviews, and then everything else is 4s and 5s, like all down the bar, mostly 5s. So, and we're talking about hundreds of reviews here. So I'm gonna read the 2-star review,
Okay.
okay? And
Bracing myself.
here you go. All right. So went to eat here with friends and was quite disappointed and surprised. When you order the food, they just put the tiny plates of food on the table so no one knows whose food it is. Very confusing when you're with a large group of people. So people eat each other's food. The portions are very small for the price. The cocktails came out 3/4 full, and they charge Manhattan prices. And to top it off, they charge a 4% kitchen appreciation tip, which doesn't go towards the regular tip. Unbelievable.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack there.
A lot to unpack.
I think I remember this one. I think it's from when we were early on.
It was early on. This again is 2 years
No,
ago.
and actually, if this person is watching this, I want to thank them for their review. Because we read that review and we realized that we had to make adjustments on how we served the food.
Okay.
So it was early on. We were still getting the hang of how to serve the tacos and how to not get things
sure.
mixed up. And we were still working on service. And that was an area that we addressed. And I think
So you owe
think
this
it helped
lady a huge debt of gratitude.
Yes. There was a lot more to unpack there. I mean, she was disappointed and surprised by a lot of stuff. What else was there?
So the big one, I mean, she spent a lot of time with the plates came out in different spots and people ate. She probably ordered a taco that she really wanted, and her girlfriend probably mopped it right in front of her.
Understandable.
That's probably
She
what
helped
happened.
us
And
with
she
that
got
part.
really upset about it. So then, and then she was saying that your cocktails were 3/4 full and expensive. Now, I don't know that to be the case. So,
Yeah, I don't consider us expensive. I think, in fairness, some of our prices, when you look at it on the menu, you might be like, that's a lot for a taco or that's a lot for a cocktail. But a lot of work went into putting those on the plate.
right.
There's a lot. It's not just one guy slapping together chopped meat and salsa, right? So they're artisan tacos. I don't like that word, but I'm just going to use it here. So as far as the prices go, I disagree with her vehemently on that. I think our prices for what you get are very, very reasonable.
I do want to remind people too that we live in a day where, like, my son ordered McDonald's the other day, one meal, it was $15. So,
I can't beat her up because it was a little while ago, but yeah, I think sometimes people forget that like we have to buy the ingredients too.
Right.
So if you see that eggs are expensive in your supermarket,
Right.
like they're expensive for us too.
Right.
And the cost of food is just continuing to go up and up and up.
Yes, it is.
So just a public service announcement to everybody out there. A lot of restaurants are going to be raising their prices. We haven't, by the way.
Right.
We haven't yet. I think I don't want to, and I'm trying not to, but it's the world in which we live in.
It is. Before we wrap it up, we'd like to ask you if you want, you can look directly into the camera right here
All right.
and say anything you want to whoever you want.
All right. Yeah, I think it's not an opportunity I've had for a while to speak with the community. Sparkill specifically and Rockland County in general. I'm truly grateful for all embracing a Jersey boy in your neighborhood over here for all these years. And it's been a pleasure to call this town my second home and to call all of you my neighbors. And I hope to see you at Cantina soon. And hopefully you come back to the kitchen and say hello.
Perfect. Chris, I want to thank you very much for indulging us and taking the time to spend with us. I know you're busy back there. It's a lot going on in this restaurant. I hear it happening. They're getting ready for dinner tonight, and I know we're taking some time. But for those of you that hasn't been here yet, please come out to see Chris Holland and his staff. Fantastic bar, fantastic food. He's a wizard in the kitchen, and it's a great spot in Sparkill. And if you're in Bergen County, New Jersey, it's 10 minutes. If you drive like me, it's 8. So we'll see you soon.